What's good, guys? Today I want to talk to you about being branded by pain, right? So, if you look at my previous video, I think it's about 4 or 5 videos back, it was called Talked About Branding is Your Testimony. So, this is kind of going to correlate with that. But I want to go deeper into the essence of your pain, right? I want to go deeper into the essence of my pain, right? Because I told you guys it's about sharing your story. So, you're looking at someone who was raised in pretty much a single mom household. Dad was in and out, and my dad was a great dad and things like that, but it was just, whatever he had going on with my mom, it took a toll on him to the point where he wasn't coming around. At the end of the day, I don't like to give people excuses, but what I learned is at the end of the day, my mom is my mom, but she's also her own individual. My dad is my dad, and he's also his own individual. So what I had to learn growing up after a certain amount of time, that I can't continue to blame things on my mom. I can't continue to blame things on my dad. I have to take control of who I am. And that's why I'm saying that you are branded by your pain. All of the different times where I wanted my dad to come pick me up and he didn't pick me up. Guess what? If I don't deal with that trauma, I'm going to be a 26, about to be 27, June 22nd, turned up. And I'm going to be dealing with that same hurt 12-year-old, 11-year-old because I'm not dealing with it and I'm not letting it go. How much are we holding in? How much pain are we holding in that we could be using to brand ourselves and develop ourselves, but we're holding on to it to hate someone? to to harbor, to keep that unforgiveness inside our heart, right? So I want to show you guys literally how to tangibly transform that pain and allow it to amplify your brand in a new way, right? So I want you to understand something. Whatever age you are right now, you have some years behind your belt, right? Most of the people who should be looking at this right now, you're probably grown. Even if you're a teenager, you got some years behind you where you went through something. Even if you don't understand your talent, you don't understand your trade, you don't understand your gift, you can take this time right now to understand your pain and understand that you are more than a conqueror. What do I mean by that? You don't just go through the things that you went through. You got through it and you smile. When is the last time you went out with your family and you was just happy? When the last time you was happy, you was like, dang, I done been through so much. It's amazing that I can still smile, right? I want you to understand that is an earmark that you are more than a conqueror. See, someone who will conquer something, they're beaten, they're bruised, they look like what they've been through. But when you are more than a conqueror, like God called us to be, you can smile on the other side of that pain. You begin to see what you are on the other side of that pain. There's so many stories in the Bible. David and Goliath. You think when David was sitting by himself, that he always thought that he would one day get up and defeat a giant? But over the course of time, over the course of his development, over the course of his progress, I always say that we were created to progressively progress. He progressed into the individual. He became the person that can slay a giant, right? So I want you to understand, what is that Goliath in your life right now? What is that thing that you can't overcome right now? Who do you need to become to be able to overcome that thing, right? So even when you think about your business, when you think about how can I get from point A to point B, right? My revenue stream might be at $100 a month. How do I get to $200 a month? How do I get to $400 a month? And instead of you just thinking about, oh, this is what I got to do. I got to sell this. I got to sell that. I got to sell this. What's holding you back? How is your people skills? Do you get frustrated easily? How is your emotional intelligence? How well are you able to understand your own emotions? See, these are the things that get blinded behind sales because we focus on sales and don't understand that these core values and these things are the piece that is missing in your brand. See, even if you skip all these things, you start having a good year. I'm trying to help you build a brand that's going to last, right? I'm thinking of a brand that's going to be 100 years, right? That you're going to be able to continue to pass on, pass on, pass on, pass on by sticking to these core values and doing the spiritual work, not just trying to get money. Because a lot of people don't understand that the money is a byproduct of becoming the person, right? Becoming resourceful. How easy is it for you to help someone without getting a dime? How easy is it for you to do what you love without getting a dime? Because I'm going to tell you something. If you don't do what you love for free and you wouldn't do it for free, you're not passionate enough. You don't love it enough. You're doing the wrong thing. or you might be doing the right thing for the wrong reason, which cancels it out. So I just want you to sit back right now and I want you to get all of the garbage out of your mind. You might have had different garbage in your mind from your uncles, your aunties. It's not their fault because they only give you what they got. But it's time for you to be the generational curse breaker that I know you are. And I want you to break through, not just in business, but break through in life. I want you to be the best father you can be, the best mother you can be. Even though I'm not a father yet, I just understand that development is going to push past any title and it's going to go through every single title, every single hat that you wear is going to build you up. See, when I think of brand, I'm not thinking of just this big name, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, McDonald's, Starbucks, Panera Bread. I'm thinking of brand being your core values, love, you're peaceful, you're dedicated, you're hardworking. I'm thinking of these different adjectives that show that you are the person that you need to be and who God called you to be. Just look in the Bible about the fruits of the Spirit, and it will begin to break down the way your brand should be, that it should be standing on the foundational words of God. So when you do this and you understand that there's another level that I'm called to outside of who I am right now, stop thinking about who you think you are. You need to begin to decrease so that he can increase in you, right? Allow God to build your brand because he cannot go back on his word. He's never went back on his word. So I would love to learn from him, right? Let him be your biggest mentor. You got to understand that the Holy Spirit is the wonderful counselor. When Jesus died, he had to leave, right? And when he left, the Spirit, the wonderful counselor, came down to coach us, to teach us. This is not just some spiritual fantasy that's not real. This is so real. The same Spirit that allowed Christ to endure the cross and allow him to raise up from the dead is the same Spirit that's living in you. And I need you to understand that you're not just this little pebble. You are big. There is something that you are called to that no one else on this earth is called to. And I need you to understand that's the core message of what your brand is, okay? So as you continue to push, you continue to believe, God will begin to outpour things so that you can receive and you can go to the next level.